Beautiful morning. Right, we were bringing the wheat in last night and I made a bit of a rookie mistake as per usual, pushing up the wheat and without thinking, next door is the workshop, but if you go any higher than this it's going to fall into next door. I ain't had a look yet. I sort of see it go up and over the wall and I was like, good, yes, let's go and have a look at that then. That is a pain. That's going to take a while to clear up. We're just tipping one of the loads from last night and the farmer was coming home last night in this tipper, and you've got to be ever so careful because the hydraulics are on the joystick here, but the joystick also works the loader, and the loader was in his way, and without thinking he touched the lever which was on the tipper, and all day yesterday we had them switched the wrong way round, so I always have it where you pull back, the trailer tips. But we had to move the header last night, so I put them the right way round. So the farmer's pushed forward, which would normally lower the loader without thinking, and lucky for him I switched them back to the right way round, otherwise he would have had corn all the way down the road. It would have opened the back door, and once it's open you can't shut it again. But luckily for him I put it on the right way around for him. That is just pure luck, nothing else, because all day yesterday it was switched the other way around and I couldn't be bothered to change it, simple as that, because I was the one on it. Push that way to shut the door. Lucky escape though, so he's now got to help me clear up my mess because I saved him. That's the deal, that's the deal. It's always important to remember your fuel cap. I must have forgotten that about 10 times this year, and that ain't even a joke. I don't know what it is. I have got into a routine of just banging them back on, but every time I forget, especially on the telehandlers. Yep, good. Listen to this tractor. I don't know, you're out last him, I don't know. Stuck in low range. It has a problem where it sticks in low range for some reason. Farmer will know what to do. We were a couple of men down yesterday, so the old man sat on a baler and they got a little bit of straw done. We like to make a few bales in small bales of straw if we can. I think everything else now will have to be big round bales because we still haven't got enough for the cattle yet. So everything else will be big round bales. We got quite a stack of small straw there, but it's not going to be what we normally have this year. Every morning farmer will give us all jobs to do, and it's all about getting things ready, and it's the bit you don't see. You see all the tractors in the fields, but you don't actually see what goes on with maintenance, filling tractors up, greasing things up. Keithy's going topping, so he's on the greaser, blowing things off. Andrew's washing the windows. We're going to wash the windows on those because we've got a little bit of time this morning, so we're going to wash the windows. And it's about looking after your stuff as well. When you're checking things over, you're checking for faults, you're checking for leaks and stuff like that. So you know, there's a lot going on the first thing in the morning. It's not just about driving around with tractors and stuff like that. Pretty cool. Right, so if you remember a few weeks ago, before the rains came, we were at these fields and we were cutting sections out. There's some deer over here, look at the deer. We were cutting sections out because we had a lot of green stems. We were baling the straw because we knew the storms were coming. We didn't realise how much rain would have came, because if we would have left the straw, it would actually still be laid out there now. We wouldn't have actually got round to baling it. It's just been so wet from then on. The ground is pretty soft now. It was rock hard before. Let's have a look at the crop. I can see rain damage. If you look in the crop here, it's pushing the stems down. The weather's turned on us. It was beautiful this morning, and it's just turned a bit cloudy now. The farmer's back at the farm. He's running the dryer. He's drying everything we brought in yesterday. We just didn't quite get down below the 15 mark, so we're drying it all, and it's a different quality as well. When we've got a load on, we're back at the farm. I'll show you what we're doing in the sheds there, because obviously the rain, once the rain's been on the corn, it changes the corn in a way. This was real nice wheat when we first harvested it. It was real nice wheat, and it went for milling, but now, because it's had so much rain on it, the quality's gone right down. The straw isn't too bad. That's not a bad row of straw, considering what we've seen in a few other fields. But Colin will be here shortly with the round baler. He's got a few fields that side to do with the round baler. Uncle Franklin's here on the other grain cart, and we're running it back to the farm, so it's about a 15-minute journey, but we can't quite get back in time for the combine, so 2 trailers needed. Peter's going in the background there. We're going to put the drone up, have a little look, and yeah, this try not to make, it's going to be a 2-part video, because we're going to be back over at Jim's, and if those guys can get their barley in dry enough today, we should have 3 combines over there. I think we'll be going over there next anyway, and we'll be testing the corn. We want to see what the moisture levels are. It should be coming down. We've had 2 days of dry now. It's just the dew that brings the moisture back up every night and mornings. We're back at the farm, and now we need to test the corn. Have a look at it. Doesn't look too bad, really. I'm going to get a handful. While we're here, the farmer's out spraying while he's drying at the same time, so he'll be back and forth loading the dryer up, because you've got about an hour and a half between drying cycles, so we'll just cast our eye on it and make sure it's all right. We're going to test this wheat first. That compresses it against the sensor. Hit the button here. So that's 16.1, I don't know if you can read that. Yeah, so this is the first wheat. This was the first wheat we took off the fields before the rain came, and that's milling quality, so we can't get that mixed up with any other wheat. The wheat at the back there, that is the wheat that came from outside the farm. Just looks a little bit higher grade than what's coming in at the moment. So all the other stuff, which is a little bit wet at the moment, is going in the far shed at the back there. That's where we're tipping that. Then it's coming into the dryer. The dryer is drying it all, obviously, and that'll take it down below 15%. The dryer tips it in here, and then we're making a dry pile here. So you can imagine on a year like this, it's tricky when you haven't got the barn space to put all the different crops, and if they're coming in wet, some are coming in dry, it can get pretty tricky. But let's just make sure this dryer's up and running and going. You can tell what it's doing. The flame's off. The flame's off at the moment, which means it's on its cooling down bit. And you can see here, reading about 36 degrees. It's got to come down to 30 degrees before we can tip it out. So the farmer will be back to check that in a minute. Sure nice to see the sun again. They say you can always check the moisture by just chewing on a bit of corn. If it's rock hard and you ain't, which it is, then you're not too far away.
Summer's gone, I'm latching on. Don't even know your name, but you're still in my head. Underneath rays of gold, your body oh so close. No, I can't forget, no. When I saw you on the dance floor, oh I saw you who saw me first. I guess it's history now, and you didn't care, but it still hurts. I didn't realize the danger, cause you're the end of the rainbow. And the music was so loud, didn't catch your name over this crowd. Girl, you should wear a name tag, cause all I wanna do is to know your name.
We're down back at Jim's field, and well, you can see there's some extreme rain damage going on here. It's not across the whole board, it's worse in certain areas. It's sort of snapped off halfway, you can see, which isn't disaster. The corn's still lying above ground, which is the main thing. We're making a start here now. I've seen Jim and Jack, they're over their field. They got a field there to do yet, so but by this evening there might be over here a little bit sooner than we thought. It depends how much they've got left to do. Colin will be over with a round baler as well, that'll be good. That grain's got a little bit pink. I can't remember what the farmer called it, but that is a known thing. I can't remember what he called it. The grain doesn't look too bad. Not as dark as we saw it at the start of the season. There's another pink one, you see it? That pink one. I can't remember what he calls it. I will look it up. We'll get him to talk about it. But at least they're not growing. That's a good thing. It looks like that looks like a good sample. I mean, they're nice and plump. We'll run it through the moisture test to make sure it's dry enough. But we've got to catch up with Peter again because he's not quite making it round in one go. We just tipped the first load. I've just done a moisture test, but it's coming in at 14.8, which is right on the limit of where you want to be, but it's dry enough to be in the dry shed, and yeah, that's good. I checked with the farmer. The pink grain that we saw in the trailer is something called Fusarium, and it's a fungicide, and apparently you only get it in the wet when you have a wet rain on the ripe seed. And to prevent it, you would put a special fungicide spray on just before you go combining. But you know, this year's all about saving money and cutting costs. But yeah, but at the minute now it's a bit of a, you know, get it all in the shed as fast as possible before it rains again. If it rains again, we're so worried about the grain chitting and starting to grow. That's not what you want. Let's just hope Peter doesn't mess this up like he did last time. I'm actually starting to get the hang of it. Not that I'm going to burst my own bubble. Uncle Franklin's back. He's just got back. He had a little bit of grain left in his tank. He had to bring the header trailer over for Peter, and then he had a little bit left in his tank, so we had to tip that back at the farm because that had to go to our farm. That's Peter empty. Hello?
Is it dark?
What? Is what dark?
You got lights on?
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, I've still got my lights on. I was in the shed. It's dark in the shed.
No, it's not dark out here.
No, I'm going to turn them off.
Yeah, good idea.
Oh, what a lad. What a lad. Look at these ears. Yeah.
They've all got corn in.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to cut it down fairish.
And they're everywhere.
So you think how much corn there is in there? A lot, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah. You can't save it now, can you?
Girl, you should wear a name tag. That's the only way that I can show you. Girl, you should wear a name tag. It's too important to be your name. People gonna say what you want back. Girl, you should wear a name tag. Lose control of myself. Can find you anywhere. Been trying for too long. I need you on the dance floor. 4 a.m. and we go home. I guess it's history now and I shouldn't care but it still hurts. I didn't realize the danger, cause you're the end of the rainbow. And the music was so loud, didn't catch your name over this crowd. Girl, you should wear a name tag, cause all I wanna do is to know your name. Girl, you should wear a name tag, that's the only way that I get your name. Girl, you should wear a name tag, it's too important to be your name. People go insane when you walk by. Girl, you should wear a name tag. You should wear a name tag.
Right, we're losing the light, guys. We are losing the light. We'll record the day tomorrow. What have we got here? 1, 2, I think there's 2 fields at the back here. There's this one here that Peter's in at the moment, and then there's a big one just beyond the way there. We'll try and line up 3 combines together. It might not work that way, but pretty cool to see all these machines here. Those John Deeres sound amazing. They do. The older machines, they sound amazing. The raw. Uncle Franklin's going to go home in a minute, so I will take over on the grain cart. But tomorrow we'll get some more drone shots, and yeah, it'll be a pretty cool video, one of a kind, because we'd never normally have anybody come in and help us, but because it's getting so late on, and if this gets rained on again, it could shit at any second. It just needs to come off the field now. Pretty good. We'll probably cut back in tomorrow, I'd have thought, tomorrow morning.